Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up Missoula. I am your host, Scott Ramp, and I'm here to usher you in through the work week. It is Wednesday, November 14th, and I'm here to talk about the weather. I'm here to talk about some of the news. Here to talk about Russell Street Project. They're doing an update today during the City Council committee meetings, and I'll talk a little bit more about that because we don't have City Council. We didn't have City Council on Veterans Day on Monday, which is the Monday that followed Veterans Day, which was originally Armistice Day. Sorry about that. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some weather. Currently, it's 20 degrees outside. Your high is going to be 38. Your low is going to be 34. Later this week, it's going to start getting a little bit warmer, which is nice. Your Thursday is slated to be 46 degrees outside with a low of 34. Friday, you can see similar temperatures that way, and you can start seeing it. It might be a little colder on Saturday, but it's also because there's going to be clear skies and a slight chance of flurries. So you might have to be prepared for some of those cold winds coming in through the valley here in Missoula. So let's talk about some news. The biggest news that happened is that Mark Thane, superintendent for MCPS school system, has announced his retirement as of last night. He will wrap up the school year and will end his job at the district effective June 30th, 2019. Mark Thane has been working for MCPS school system for 39 years. Thane began his career as a teacher and worked his way up to become principal, executive regional director, executive director for human resources and labor relations. He began serving as district interim superintendent when Alex Apostle left back in June 2015. When he got a job in Spokane, and was subsequently offered a contract in July 2015, and it expires June 30th, 2019, so he's taking advantage of this expiration to retire. Mark Thane will be leaving the school system with a legacy that will be shown in the 2020 school initiative, which involved with new technologies and new facilities and updated facilities within the MCPS school system into the future. All right, so let's talk about state news. Just because you become a resident of Montana doesn't mean that you're no longer can avoid those costs associated with out-of-state tuition. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports the proposal will be presented as an informational item next week in the Montana Board of Regents. They're the ones that regulate the universities of Montana and Montana State University. The specifics of the requirement require 12 months of taxable income within the state. So that gap year where they move here, they work here for a year, and it has to be 12 months of taxable income within the state. The so-called resident must be financially independent for at least a year if this passes by the Board of Regents. But it won't pass next week since the Board of Regents, if approved, will have a hearing later on this if this changes. And of course, another big news item happening in near Helena area is a Jefferson County deputy's vehicle was shot several times during an attempted traffic stop Tuesday afternoon 2 miles south of Montana City. Authorities are asking the public to be on lookout for a vehicle, a blue Chrysler 300 with temporary registration. They believe that the vehicle was occupied by 3 men, and it was last seen traveling eastbound on Canyon Ferry Drive from Lake Helena. In national news, the fire in California has now become the most deadly in the state history, so bad that 73 firefighters out of Montana are going down there during Thanksgiving. At least 42 people have died in the wildfire in the Northern California that burned through the town of Paradise with shocking speed. The president requested a disaster declaration for the California fires. The Camp Fire, as it's called, started last Thursday morning, growing explosively and forcing panicked evacuation. It is now burning on 125,000 acres with 30% containment. The California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection reported on Monday night more than 5,000 personnel and are fighting the blaze, which has destroyed more than 6,500 homes and 260 commercial buildings. To the south, the Woolsey fire is burning at 96,000 acres and is about 35% contained. Cal Fire said Tuesday morning the fire that broke out in the Thousand Oaks area, which already has been coping with the mass shooting, is blamed for 2 deaths so far. In June, the California Forestry Agency blamed 12 wildfires on the downed power lines owned by utility giant Pacific Gas and Electric. And in October, Southern California Edison said its equipment was at least in part to blame for the Thomas Fire that burned more than 280,000 acres in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties last year. So those are some of the news items. You can find out more information by going to npr.org, and it's all over, so you can't miss it. So those are some of the news items that are happening. Here are some of the new programs going to be airing on MCAT, which involves leadership training and a little bit of history with our former Senator Max Baucus.
And you sit side by side and drink ice cold beer and shoot at rats. You never hit one because you're no good. But it's fun. Don't lie, it's fun. And so in your memory, forever, maybe the worst possible assignment was one of the funnest days of your life. And to this day, you love that person. That's a warm memory, and you miss them. It's never where you go. It's always who you're with. Always who you're with. So how do I change this channel?
It's not a channel.
Oh. All right. Woo! Number one, the power of attitude. True leaders know that attitude is everything, and it's contagious. It's never where you go. It's always who you're with. Because the attitude of that person that you're with dictates the experience. Period. It dictates your experience. And number two, it's totally contagious. Because when the first person was a Grumbledorf, that's what I call him, you became a grump. But when the second person was fun, you had fun.
Mike, if I can indulge in a little personal side here, is really my inspiration. He's the main reason I got into public service. And Mike would give little bits of advice here and there. One is, and I decided to enter public service, and in Washington, he said, "Now, Max, when you go home, where are you going to live?" And I don't know. He said, "Whatever you do, don't move to Helena." I knew exactly what he meant. Everybody in Helena is chasing the rumors all around. This is not where the real people live. And I said, no, I want to come to Missoula because that's really what makes sense to me. It's the mountains and it's a university and so forth. And did move to Missoula back in '73 and knocked on a few doors in Missoula. And so my real soul and in the state is Missoula. That's right. Got my start, and it's just been so special to me.
Hey guys, welcome back. Let's talk about some city committee meetings that are happening today. There's a lot happening within the city committee. There's the first one, kicking it off, is the Parks and Conservation, which they're talking about a rapidly changing world, and a team has made progress in many areas for their direction from the council for a team that would be constructive, knowing what direction to pursue in areas of climate change to emphasize would make for more impactful community engagements via this team. And so that's what they're going to be talking about until about 5-7 minutes from now. So the meeting is happening right now this morning from 8:15 to 9:15. Up next, we have another meeting. It's land use and planning. This one's pretty big, interesting too, because the Poverello Center has put a cap at 175 individuals, and they have met that quota. So the Salvation Army, they want to be able to have a winter warming center to serve 20 to 30 individuals for the upcoming cold winter season. The Missoula Service Community swiftly convened to consider alternatives. These conversations resulted in the Salvation Army's generous offer to operate a winter warming center during this year's coldest winter months. So that's kind of what's happening there with the rising shelter numbers and the strain. This placed on both staff and facility recently led the Poverello Center to cap it at 175. And there's upwards of 20 individuals per night that were unable to access services at the Poverello Center. So Missoula Salvation Army is stepping up. All right, Public Works. That's happening later this afternoon. From 2:30 to 4:30, the Montana Department of Transportation will be doing an update on the Russell Street Bridge. You get to learn all about what the Russell Street Bridge is doing, including bikes, pedestrians, and more. Is rolling out a new Russell Street Bridge. This project, which starts at Dakota Street and extends to Broadway Street, will deliver significant upgrades, including additional vehicle and bike lanes, expanded sidewalks, lighting, and trail connections. This is a report of the progress and construction of the Russell Street Bridge. You get to find out when they are actually slated to finish this. You can drive by there. The traffic hasn't slowed down, but for the most part, we're still kind of stuck on the old bridge for now while they're building the new one. So that's kind of what's happening with the city council meeting. I'm going to throw it on over to Dubbin Stuff because we have a brand new Dubbin Stuff. And, since we're talking about road construction and streets, why not we continue the tradition in November for another movie with street in its name. This is called Scarlet Street.
So this is what they call a city. Are you following? Are you even paying attention to me?
Here, let me see. Yes.
Oh,
no.
We gotta get this out of here. All right, let's hide this.
right,
behind
All right, now put that up.
Okay,
I'm here.
just like that.
Why hasn't anyone answered me? Oh, hey. I got some great news about things. Can I help you, sir?
Oh, you're just in time to see my wonderful painting. See this? So check it out. It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Thanks for coming by uninvited.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's one of my best works.
Well, it is a bit unorthodox for you to stop by uninvited.
Well, you know how it is. You got to stop by, otherwise you stop living, or whatever is how they say. Well, I got to go. I got things to do, and I got more pictures to show young ladies.
Well, he seemed like a nice guy.
He's okay, I guess.
He looks a little more age appropriate for you.
Quit pawning me off on every guy that comes here. It's really weird.
Well, he was dressed nice.
It's the 40s.
Well, I guess you're right.
I don't see it
Everybody
why.
dressed nice.
One guy just thinks I should be dating
just don't want
someone,
you to be
when I
alone.
don't actually need to date anyone. I'm a strong, independent woman.
Don't you walk away from me, Missy. Don't you open that door. Well, don't you slam that. No. Now, are you appropriate in there? Oh, come on, I didn't mean it. I just wanted you to get married and get out of my house.
I'll get out of your house when I'm good and ready, okay? Not before, not in the middle, not after.
Oh, come on, sweetie, we can talk this out.
Okay, fine. Let me get on my 3 layers of 1940s pajamas. And another thing, I still got 10 good years in me. I can date. What do you think you're doing? I can hear you walking away from me. Excuse me. If I were to move out or whatever, you'd be all alone, and you hate being alone.
I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
I just wanted to marry you off.
Not right now. You're stuck with me. Oh, come on now. You're gonna paint my nails. It's gonna be wonderful, and you're gonna like it.
Yes. Honey bunny.
It's been a while since you've painted my toenails before, but I'm sure you're not out of practice.
All right. This would be a lot weirder if I was Quentin Tarantino.
Aren't we all Quentin Tarantino?
One thing you should know about Dubbin Stuff is I have absolutely no idea of the context of each of the scenes, so I just kind of make it up as I go along. So, that was this week's episode of Dubbin Stuff, and you can find out more videos and like that by logging on to wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/wakeupmissoula. Just Google Wake Up Missoula, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And be sure to subscribe, follow, and be a part of the Wake Up Missoula family. You can also find out more information about MCAT if you want to be a part of MCAT, getting your foot in the door when it comes to broadcast communications. Hang out with other like-minded filmmakers and more. This is a free service that we provide for the community. Orientation is every Wednesday night at 5:30 p.m. You can call us at 542-6228, otherwise known as 542-MCAT. You can also email us, mcat@mcat.org, for more information. You can pretty much read everything you need to know about us on mcat.org, and you can ask questions, and our orientation is every Wednesday at 5:30. We have a sweet dated orientation video for you guys that you guys can enjoy. I think we'll probably only update the orientation video as soon as we move into the new library facility, just to kind of give it a new fresh coat of paint and whatnot. All right, so let's talk about some events that are happening within the city of Missoula. There's a couple events. A lot of things, especially happening today. Just want you guys to know that Can the Cats is still going on here. If you have any dry goods or foods, you can come on downtown, go across from Warden's, donate your dry goods and non-perishables. You can also go to Missoula Food Bank, and we're trying to raise as many cans and as much money to feed people as we can. So the whole idea is that, just so you guys know, I don't think Missoula has won Can the Cats drive in many years. I don't know the last couple of years particularly, but I know that we had a long stretch of like 16 years of losing to the Bobcats. So get your checkbooks out or get your dry goods and start donating them to the Missoula Food Bank. It's called part of the Can the Cats, all leading up to the Grizz Bobcat Brawl of the Wild football game happening Saturday. All right, Tiny Tales and Story Time. If you're interested in having your kids learn about books and stuff, you can bring them on down to Empower Place at Missoula Food Bank while you're donating. Hey, why not? Can the Cats. Or you can go to Frenchtown. I don't know if they accept donations, but it's all about reading, and it's all sponsored by the Missoula Public Library, and this is the Branch Story Time and Tiny Tales, which engages young kids, birth to walking, to engage in reading. Hands-on science. If you want your kids to be more scientific and less read-centric, they can go to Hands-on Science at Spectrum Discovery Center at 11 a.m. and transforms everyday crafting tools into a moving hovercraft in the Discovery Bench. Make it with your own personalized design and coloring, then watch it glide. Travel over the makerspace for a special makers activity. Do-it-yourself kazoos. And this happens from 3 to 5:30 p.m. In the makerspace, they're doing spirographs. Sound, Soup, and Sanctuary with the Zoo City Crooners, the Universal Congregational Church at the University Center. No, sorry about that. It's at the University Congregational Church, otherwise known as UCC, not to be confused with the University Center, which people call the UC Center, which is UCC. Okay, I've confused you. So it started at noon today at the University Congregational Church. I believe it's near Arthur Street. It's pretty much on the south side of campus areas. Today is the second Wednesday Sound, Soup, and Sanctuary concert series at the University Congregational Church, which features the Zoo City Crooners, a 12-piece vocal ensemble performing works of the Great American Songbook. The 20-minute concert begins 12:10, and it is followed by soup and bread luncheon. A free will offering will be accepted to help defray costs, and you might be able to donate to Can the Cats. Scrabble and Bridge, Missoula Senior Center. You can enjoy some lunch at the Missoula Senior Center and destroy your fellow golden oldies with Scrabble and Bridge. I don't know the right way to say it, but Scrabble and Bridge, it's a game people play, and you can destroy each other at the Missoula Senior Center starting around 12:30. Stepping on, following classes, Currents Aquatic Center. Wednesdays happening pretty much every single Wednesday until December 5th. Stepping On is an evidence-based fall prevention program for adults 60 years and over. It's a 7-week period. Participants should learn exercises, methods, and strategies to build self-confidence, change behaviors, and improve decision-making for safe, independent living. So just so you guys know, one of the biggest things when it comes to falling is slippers. Don't wear slippers. It raises the risk of falling. And when you fall, you can really hurt yourself, especially the older you get. So be aware of that. And these are fall prevention classes. But of course, Missoula Asian Services also do a post-fall class to help get people's confidence back up from falling. All right, so Middle School Writers Group is happening this afternoon. This is every Wednesday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. It's located in the boardroom at the Missoula Public Library. For writers age 6 to 9, grades 6 to 9, to get and give good feedback, play with words, and eat a little chocolate. Year Without a Summer, virtual gallery opening at the University of Montana. Year Without a Summer, art erupts from Missoula to the world. Global and cultural affairs at Arts Missoula is pleased to present an opening of a virtual gallery featuring works of Courtney Blazon. The virtual exhibition is an opportunity to show us a local Missoula's artists work in our sister cities in Palmerston North, New Zealand, and Neckargram, Germany. Sorry, I totally butchered that name, but it's in Germany and New Zealand. Celebrate today, 4 p.m. It's kicking off, and it'll be pretty much, it's an art gallery, so it'll pretty much be at the university. It's going to be at the University Center, second floor, at the University of Montana campus, so you can't miss it. Let's see. Rose Park Neighborhood Council Leadership Meeting, Missoula Senior Center at 5 p.m. tonight. You can learn more about Rose Park if you live in Rose Park. And of course, you can go online to find out more information. Go to MissoulaEvents.net for the link. Medical cannabis, patient service, bud tender training. So marijuana and medical marijuana is starting to get a good trend, especially here in Missoula. And they're wondering, and they're looking for people who want to serve people who have green cards in Missoula. I know I'm kind of trickling around these words very carefully. But anyways, this is a 90-minute course to get you acquainted with the Montana medical marijuana programs, common terms, cannabis placed basics, bud tender, best practices, and more. This is a course designed to help you understand the process better, interview better, and bring more to the table at your potential and current job. So the whole idea is this is for anybody who wants to basically be the person who legally sells medical marijuana to folks in the community. And you can find out more information at MontanaCannabisAdvocates.com, where they have classes and more. So if you miss this one, you can always go to another one. And this happens tonight at 5:45 in the downtown Missoula. That's pretty vague, but anyways, glass fused ornaments at the Zootown Arts Community Center. In this holiday themed glass fusion glass, it's never too early for the holiday season, and they're teaching people how to glass fuse ornaments. And it's a good way to get started. And then by the time Christmas comes around, you'll be so good at it. The only thing you'll have hanging on your tree are glass themed ornaments that you made from the ZAC. So students can make two 2x3 inch ornaments, and they are invited to make more for $12 each. It looks like this is a fairly cost-effective program starting at 6 p.m. tonight at Zootown Arts. Highlander Comedy Night at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be at the Missoula Brewing Company, Highlander Beer, just off Expressway. Grab your favorite beer and laugh next today. I don't know why it keeps on saying the wording in some of the Missoula events is very much like are very much like past tense or future tense. Four local Montana comedians are performing for free at Highlander Beer. Each of them has performed all around the state and has won competitions or performed at the Big Sky Comedy Festival. Come laugh along with Sarah Ashwell, Lenny Peppers, Zach Allen, and Highlander's very own Zach Jarvis. And this happened at 6:30 p.m. Opera Theater. They're going to be doing this pretty much this week. November 14th and 15th, the wonderful singers of the Opera Theater present 6 scenes from operas by Mozart, Verdi, Puccini, John Strauss Jr., and Gilbert and Sullivan. One scene in Italian, and the rest is in English. And it's all wrapping up your Thursday night. Of course, you can find out more about your Thursday nights as well by going to MissoulaEvents.net. Let me see if I can bring that up. MissoulaEvents.net. It is a wonderful website where you can find out more information. I'm going to just scroll on down to some of your late night events where you guys, if you guys are interested in doing some things, they have some trivia at the Broadway Bar and Grill. They have trivia at the Press Box tonight. They have karaoke at the Dark Horse, and have karaoke at the Badlander. But I have a special art clip for you. I want to see consider it art, but it's something I made for our Saturday drop-ins, and Saturday drop-ins are happening every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. And a kid challenged me to make my own stop animation, so I did.
What a beautiful day, isn't it? Come on, let's get out of here.
Excuse me, what are you guys even doing anyways?
What's your deal anyways? Let's get out of here. What?
Take that, you little
How
freaks.
dare you? I'm gonna get you. Okay? Listen, lady, just leave us alone.
Well, you started things, and I'm gonna finish it.
Not right now, I can handle this, don't worry.
Are you handling it? Give me that Yeti!
Get out of here, go!
I'm gonna get you! But first I'm gonna take care of you. You know how much Yetis are worth? What are you looking at?
You killed her! Good job, Yeti.
Short and sweet and to the point. There you go, Ben. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some things that are happening for your Thursday. Toastmasters meeting starting as early as 9:30 in the morning. Perkins Family Restaurant. Toastmasters are looking if you're learning to be in a comfortable speaking in public, confront your fears, and learn in a supportive and fun environment. It's not about public speaking, and you will learn the valuable leadership and listening skills, and you'll discover many surprises, benefits. Come as a guest and check out our meeting. And this is the Toastmasters meeting. It happens every Thursday, kicking off tomorrow morning, 6:30 to 7:45 a.m. Early mornings, you can, it's just public speaking. Tiny Tales are happening at 10:30 a.m. At the regular place at the Missoula Public Library. Operating system, Ubuntu. Like always, once every 2 months or so, Missoula Public Library does Ubuntu. It is an open source Linux-based operating system that offers users a host of free software tools and customization of their user experience. So remember some of those old computers in the 90s where it's a lot of code and a lot of stuff like that? Well, that's very much Linux-based programming and stuff. Most of the stuff you can see in PC, because PC is kind of like a more of a glossy layer of rose-colored lenses that they put on computers to make it more user-friendly, while Macs are more for people who are just computer illiterate, like me. See, I'm using the Mac right here. It's basically every episode seems to be sponsored by Mac. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's the Mac I use, and it's the Mac I enjoy. But of course, this is Ubuntu, and they're teaching about Linux, which is an interesting operating system. Imagine that someone gave you a tank and an operating manual for said tank, and it is extremely complicated, but you can also call them, and they will tell you exactly what you need to know, which makes things even more complicated. Linux! It's wonderful. The registration is required by calling 721-BOOK, otherwise known as 721-2665, and this happens from 12 to 1 in the computer classroom. Making and taking crafts at Big Sky Branch. Hey, it's never too early to do some crafts and make some wreaths and stuff like that. Big Sky High School Library from 2:30 p.m. kicking off until probably about 4:30. Hey, librarians have places to go too, you know. Come and make unique crafts at the Big Sky Branch. Registration is not required. It's a drop-in. For more information, call them at 728-2400 extension 8605. Lego Club and Predator Feeding at 3:30 p.m. This is for people who like to see some animals devour each other. Arachnids mostly. They have a Chilean Rosie the Chilean tarantula there, where they feed the spider. Date night and at the Insectarium. So if you're sticking around even later that night, starting at 6 p.m., they have a drop-off from 6 to 8 p.m. It's $15 per kid and $10 for additional siblings. So if you have like 5 kids, it's $15 plus the extra little kids, which is about $55. Pretty good. And it's for kids who are aged 4 to 11. And, of course, they ask that your kid must be potty trained. No diapers, just saying. They just don't want to deal with that. So they're going to have... let's see. You'll get 2 coupons for and $1 off drinks at this Dram Stop across the street, and they highly encourage you to head there as well to deserve date night. Healthy snacks will be provided for your kids. Grizz Volleyball is happening tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Grizz Volleyball will be taking on Weber State. They're our rivals when they're here. Big Sky High School Annual Cabaret Show happening November 15th through the 17th, Thursday, Friday, and the Best of Cabaret Saturday night. Shows start at 7:30 p.m. with doors opening at 7:15. It's the Big Sky High School cafetorium at Big Sky High School. It's great. It's happening, kicking off tomorrow night, and it's going to go on for the next 3 days. It's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to have to go check it out because I was just at the play last week at Hellgate High School when they did We Have Always Lived in a Castle. It's a play. Okay, so anyways, that kind of wraps up everything that you need to know what's happening for your Thursday. If you're interested in going out and about on Thursday night, you can look it up at MissoulaEvents.net. And open mic at the VFW. You got Party Volcano at the Badlander, so if you like the DJ music where you want to dance and hang out. And, of course, the Opera Theater continues tomorrow night as well. And they have an untold story of the National Bison Range. It's a documentary. It's going to be at the Wilma at 7 p.m. And that's all happening tomorrow night. And you can find out more information by going to MissoulaEvents.net, as you just saw right there. If you want to find out more information about MCAT and more, you can go to MCAT.org. I want to remind you guys that Winter Days is upon us, and if you have a kid who is aged 9 to 13, roughly, from December 26th through the 28th, so it's Wednesday, the day after Christmas, during the Christmas break. If you want your kids to get out of the house and you have to go back to work, it is a great way for you to put your kids in a camp. And it's from about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have pre-care starting at 8:30 p.m. and it's $99. That's pretty much $33 a day for 8 hours of watching the kid. That's about, so 33 divided by 8. So that's basically like $250 an hour for watching for each kid. So just think about it. It's fun. You can register online at mcat.org. All right, so there's nothing else I really want to mention. Everything's going pretty well for me. Thanks for asking. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and this is my end of the show. So for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Raff. This Friday I'll be talking about what's going on with Russell Street Bridge. So stay with me, and I'll have another episode of another Flagship Friday for you guys this Friday. So for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ramph. Have a wonderful Wednesday.